Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're talking about something huge, architecting your retirement in Singapore. And we're not just talking about getting by, we're talking about building a future where you can actually thrive.
Let's kick things off with a number that I bet will feel familiar to a lot of you. 92%. That's almost everyone. 92% of Singaporeans are worried sick about inflation just eating up their savings. It's a feeling we all share, and for good reason.
And that brings us to the big question, right? With all of us living longer these days, retirement isn't just a few years off. We're talking about a journey that could last 20, even 30 years. So, is your plan, is it really ready for that? It's something we've all got to face.
So, to really get a grip on this, we need to understand the pressures we're all under. Let's call it the retirement squeeze.
This isn't some far-off prediction. It's happening like right now. By 2030, which is just around the corner, nearly 1 in 4 of us will be over 65. Singapore is aging fast, and that demographic shift, it's putting this incredible strain on the old ways of thinking about retirement. The playbook our parents followed, honestly, it just won't cut it for us.
All right, so where do we even begin? Well, we have to start with the foundation for most Singaporeans, the CPF. We're going to take it apart, really deconstruct it, to see what it's truly meant for.
You know, the name itself, the full retirement sum, it sounds so final, doesn't it? It gives you this feeling of job done. But words can be deceiving. We need to look beyond the label and get into the actual numbers.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting. Look at this side by side. If you hit your full retirement sum in 2025, your monthly payout from CPF LIFE is going to be somewhere around $1,600. Now, what's the estimated cost for just basic needs for a single older person? Yep, also around $1,600. We're talking a razor-thin margin here. There's almost no room to breathe. So here's the key takeaway, the big mind shift we need to make. The CPF is an amazing system. It's designed to be a reliable income floor. It's not a lifestyle ceiling. It's there to make sure you don't fall, to cover the basics. It was never designed to pay for your dream life.
And that small change in thinking changes everything. Stop seeing the FRS as plan complete. Instead, think of it as foundation laid. Once you've laid that solid foundation, then you can start building the rest of your dream house on top of it.
All right, let's move on to the second pillar of Singaporean retirement security, the HDB flat. For decades, it's been seen as this guaranteed nest egg. But we have to ask, is it truly an asset, or could it be a liability?
This timeline here shows the unavoidable truth about owning an HDB. It's on a 99-year clock, and that clock is always ticking. Its value doesn't just gently drift down, it starts to accelerate, and then it falls off what's called the value cliff once the lease gets really short. And at the end of that 99 years, the value is literally zero. So that idea that property will always go up, well, for our generation, that's a really risky bet to make for retirement.
This really drives the point home. You hear about schemes like the lease buyback scheme, right? They're not there to fund a luxury cruise. Think of them more like financial life rafts. They're designed to help people who are behind on their savings, turning a depreciating asset back into cash to cover basic needs. A good plan, a proactive plan, means you hopefully never need to use one.
Okay, so we've torn down the old, shaky assumptions. Now for the fun part. Let's start architecting a new blueprint, one that's built for comfort and can actually weather the storms.
So where do we find this growth? Well, one of the biggest untapped opportunities is staring us right in the face, the Supplementary Retirement Scheme, or SRS. And you can see the issue right here. Almost 1/5 of all the money in the SRS is just sitting there as uninvested cash. It's basically losing value to inflation every single day. That is a massive opportunity being missed. And that's a shame because the SRS it's just an incredibly powerful tool. It's a triple benefit machine. First, you get instant tax relief the moment you put money in. Second, that money grows completely tax-free. And third, when you finally take it out in retirement, you only pay tax on half of it. It's a win-win-win scenario. So how do we pull all these different threads together into a coherent plan? The best way to visualize it is as a 3-layer pyramid. This is your blueprint for action.
Let's start at the bottom. Layer 1 is the base. This is all about security, non-negotiable, rock-solid security. Your goal here is simple. First, hit your CPF full retirement sum to lock in that lifelong income floor. And second, have a fully paid off HDB over your head. That's your shelter, sorted.
Now for the middle. Layer 2 is your growth engine. Once that base is secure, this is where you start building some real wealth. What does that mean? It means you max out your SRS contributions every year, and, this is key, you actually invest them. You build a diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, maybe some REITs, something that's built to crush inflation and fund a life that's more than just the basics.
And finally, we get to the top, the peak of the pyramid. This is layer 3, aspiration. This is what pays for the good stuff. The travel, the hobbies, having the freedom to help out your kids, and just having that ultimate peace of mind. This layer is funded by your other private investments, and you can add things like private insurance or annuities to really customize it for your specific goals.
And really, if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. The government gives us a fantastic set of tools, a really strong safety net. But a truly comfortable retirement, one filled with freedom and choice, that's not something that just happens to you. It's an outcome that you, and only you, have the power and the responsibility to architect. The blueprint is right here. Now, it's your turn to start building.